Hey guys, so welcome back to another episode of Deck Tech. So today we continue talking about the white deck, the famed white deck. I had been struggling a lot. Probably for the past 5 years, I wasn't able to really make a white deck work. I really tried. I tried Boros, I tried Jeskai, I tried Orzhov, and these cards work well because these colors lend themselves to being good support. But with white, it tended to be the case that it wasn't really going anywhere because two support colors were not doing much, and so one only was even worse. And so white is very much a support color in Commander, but we finally managed to get some. So if you haven't seen the previous video, which is the draw power, actually watch that one. You should watch them in order so that you get a little bit of context. I try to make them individual, independent of each other, but it might be the case that you get more of an idea of how the deck works if you just watch it all in a row. But yeah, what we got here is going to be Stax Pieces. Stax is a taboo word in Commander. Ooh, the big bad wolf. Honestly, it's not such a big deal, not because I play it, not because I like it. It's more because it's just one of the strategies. If you take all of the strengths that colors have, you're going to be left with a very unidimensional and very boring deck. And that's not a good idea, because whenever you have something akin to white only, you're going to have one card that does this, one card that does that, one card. If they don't work well together, and each of them is something that is a taboo individually, it's never going to work out. No one likes to keep their stuff tapped, but Winter Moon is actually a really good idea in mono decks because it's gonna be hindering you the least if you have mostly basics, if you have a cheap mana base. And if you have people that are lower power decks or lower color decks, they're going to be your allies. Therefore, Winter Moon is actually a really good card to run, but everyone hates having their stuff kept tapped. Everyone hates that Winter Orb. And if we take that tool away, and we also can do land destruction, and we also can do mass sport wise, and we also can just have all of the removals because then you're targeting or ganking them, but also we can have the activated abilities can be activated, and also all the things come in tapped, and also all of the things they don't untap on creatures, and things can attack you, and you can't cast stuff. Rule of law is terrible. What is there for white to play if you are going to diss every single good thing that white can have? It's like no Christmas toys for white, not even one or two in a deck, not even 20, even if they don't do the same thing, because I can understand that something is overwhelming because it's the same. How many dorks can green get before it's too many dorks? Well, there's gonna be a critical mass, but we haven't reached that. We have gotten different kinds of dorks, and we try to push them all in so that we can get green to be the fastest ever one drops, so that then you can get turn 2 become turn 3, and turn 4 becomes turn 5 or 6. It really ramps up the game. Same thing with the draw on blue, the scry, the mill, just looking over everything, surveil, the clue token, and every other mechanic that allows a little bit of draw here, a little bit of draw there. Then you got the wheels, you got the cantrips, you got the things that activate and also enable something else to draw. Like all of that, what's gonna stop that? And no one really hates draw as a mechanic or ramp as a mechanic. In the case of white has a lot of deterrents, and those deterrents are going to be talked about in this video. So if you want to know more about that, stay tuned and let's keep going. So like I said, starting off, we have Winter Moon. Winter Moon is great because it costs 2. It's an artifact, goes into any mono white deck, but it also doesn't let players untap more than one non-basic, which means every player can untap all the basics. That's what I was talking about, having multiple allies versus enemies. A 5-color deck is gonna hate you, buddy, because you just trapped on their whole deck and their whole game plan, unless they have basics, which they can't get because their fetch lands are not basics. So they have to draw into the little amount of basics that they have. Same thing with a 2, 3, 4 color deck. It's going to be a lesser amount, and the more that they have in basics, the better they're off. So that means budget players are going to be doing good by you. They want that to stay, and now it becomes a 2v2 in terms of defending that piece. If they see the value in it, they won't go like, ugh, Stax piece. They will instead go like, wow, I didn't have to pay 2 mana. I didn't have to waste 1 card from my hand. They're helping me out while they're controlling them. I can just keep doing my own thing. Now Now that's an indirect alliance. So whenever someone wants to get rid of that so they can play, they might actually even help you. No, I'm gonna counter that. I don't have blue, but that other person is trying to combo off and he needs all his lands or he needs certain colors, and then guy with blue says, no way, you're not getting rid of Wintermoon, you're gonna beat us all, and then counters all the removal that Wintermoon might get. Same thing happens with Mixstone. You have a lot of like big creature and stuff like that that's like attacking you. Well, maybe you don't have flyers, maybe you don't have anything, maybe they have trample and they keep going at you and at you and at you. They might even be tokens, they might even be an infinite. Well, you got Mixstone here for 1 mana. It says a power 3 or greater creatures don't untap their controllers untap steps. Now what you can see in this deck is I don't have a whole lot of power 3 or greater. I might have some like Limvala. Oh, I guess Limvala can attack, but I don't want to have Limvala as an attacker. I want her as a blocker that's flying, because I don't have many flying cards in this deck, and I want her effect to not die because of combat. This is practically an enchantment that's also a blocker, so she has multiple purposes, and Mixstone actually helps out, right? Then on the other hand, power 3 or greater Thalia can attack, but once again she can defend and has first strike, so she stands as removal or as a deterrent for people not to attack you, because that 3 is gonna hit them in the face any single time they want to attack me, even though I'm not attacking them. So I'm ready for all 3 players. So it's like Thalia is attacking 3 times over. For anything that's cost 3 or greater, they're gonna get 1 attack. Then, oh, you hit me, maybe you gave me 10 damage. But then after that, they're all tapped, and the things that are untapped are gonna be less than Thalia. So now they can't really attack you. So Thalia costs 3. 3/2 also has an effect. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Now it's another deterrent. See, they are deterrents to the opponent playing and playing and playing stuff while you get your board state in a way that you can actually do something to counteract their play or to actually try to win, right? So same thing is going to happen here. Mixstone, this is the same, but on Crackdown it's the same, but with white and an enchantment. So it's cost 3, Crackdown. Non-white creatures with power 3 or greater do not untap during their controller's untap steps. That means that this is the same as that, but it doesn't affect yours. So instead of Migstone, you can get Crackdown, and that way you get the same effect. So here, these are the cards that are like have to do with tapped and untapped, the ones that keep stuff tapped. That's pretty cool. On the other side here, what you have is things they got there or they're getting there, whatever, but they can't tap. They can't be activated. So you have Cursed Totem for 2 cost, artifact, and it says activated abilities of creatures can be activated. That's it, even yours. So what do? We build around that. We don't have many activated abilities whenever we're playing this deck, so that Cursed Totem is a good search that we can pay, we can play, and quickly enough, if we have a Soul Ring, we can get a Soul Ring into Cursed Totem, a Soul Ring into Wintermoon, a Soul Ring into Crackdown, right? And that way we can be protected, at least for a bit, while they remove that, and then the rest of the game plan goes smoothly. So that way I don't have to defend everything. Every single card that I have that's a Stax piece is actually going to be a distraction from another part of the deck, which if I don't have a theme, I don't really have to go through a certain way. It doesn't really hurt me. Whatever they take away, it was just a one-off card, and they are all value cards, even though they are Stax pieces. They provide value in reverse. They give negative virtual card advantage so that you can get a positive virtual card advantage, or negative actual so you get positive virtual, which is actually really good because that ensures you play the game more and you win more, and you try to get the cards before them or after them, but they don't play them, so it doesn't matter if you get them after or not, right? Really good. Same thing happens with Crawl Space. Maybe you already have creatures that want to attack, only 2 of them can attack you. Now if you have an army of tokens and they are under these 2, one of these 2, and they are untapped, only 2 can attack. So all these little creatures that, you know, this was for going big, this is going tall, this is for going wide. So all these creatures, they can't do this to you. On the other hand, you have Linvala. Activated abilities of creatures your opponent's control can be activated. So this is creatures, this is creatures, both have the same, right? And then you have this one as a blocker for cost 4, and it's a flyer, but this one is cost 2 only. But this one, it doesn't let them even attack. And then you got Draneth Magistrate, doesn't let them cast spells other than from their hand, which means their commanders are gone. And it also means that whenever you have something that wants to play from the deck, you can't play that anymore. Whatever, it lets you cast creatures from the top, it lets you see the top. You're not going gonna get that. Same thing with artifacts, same thing with cascade, it's not gonna allow from the deck. Same thing with exile stuff, it's not gonna allow from the deck. So all these things, they kind of die out because they're trying to cheat stuff in. This is gonna keep it fair, and if they want to play their commander, it's an unfair advantage. I can play mine, it's opponents that can't, so it's very one-sided. So that's really good card advantage. And by the time they remove this, they'll have wasted the removal, so you can keep drawing, you can keep stuff from being activated or from being untapped because they use the removal on Dranith, or because they use the removal on Thalia or on Curse Totem, and now your Winter Moon is alive, or on Winter Moon, so now your Crawl Space is alive. See, so each of them is like a smoke and mirror situation. Same thing is going to happen with Blind Obedience. This card has put in so much work, and it's not on the Artifact Center tab. That doesn't matter much. What really matters here is the Extort, because you have such a slow play situation where no one's playing that much. They have open mana, and if you don't have that much draw, you also have open mana, and if you have drawn a lot, you probably have open mana because you haven't missed land draw. So if you leave open mana, whenever you play, you just extort, play, extort, play, extort, pass, play, extort, play, extort. And that way you're not only gaining life but draining them slowly. So suddenly a game has people at 20 something struggling because you've played 10 or 20 spells, and other people do damage to each other, and suddenly my extorting Blind Obedience is not the, oh it's fine, something entered tap. It's more of a, oh, if he plays 5 more cards, I'm done. Same thing happens with God Pharaoh Statue. Spells cost 2 more to cast. Big deterrent right there. It's cost 6, I know, but then at the beginning of the end step, each opponent loses 1 life. I'm playing the long game. So remember how I said all these rounds, they go really fast because the turns go really fast because people are not really playing that much. They draw, pass, draw, land, pass, draw, cast, pass. That's usually how it goes, and then attacking in between, right? So if that makes the turns 2, 3, 5 times faster, that also means that this is going to be putting in 5 times the amount of work because it's more turns per game. That means everyone's doing more live per games. So it's at the end of my end step, the beginning of my end step, that everyone loses 1 life. So the more rounds a game's got, then the better that God Pharaoh Statue is, because it deters people from every single turn. It's for every single spell, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. If you're a Storm player, you're drowned out. If you're a Stompy player, you might be drowned out. You might be mana screwed. If you're a Spell Slinger, you might be drowned out. On the other hand, if you have all the mana sinks, you'll be using those. And then the mana sinks, well, these activated abilities can be activated here. Same here. See, that's the kind of thing that you want to do. So they work well in conjunction as well as alone. And so yeah, that's gonna be it for the Stax Pieces part though. So let me know what you guys think. Is there another card that we can add in here? I know there's plenty. There's a lot of like Null Rod. There's all these people that say, oh, the do nothing cards. Yes, they are do nothing cards because people don't do anything, which means you get free turns. Every card that doesn't let your opponent do anything is an extra turn card basically, because if they pass, that's a free turn for you. Even though it's at the expense of them drawing a card, it's like draw a card, play an additional turn. Would you play a card like that on any color? Your opponent gets a card draw and you get an extra turn. That feels broken. Hey, but they get an additional untapped step. That feels broken. They could counter your stuff, but it's a whole nother turn. So let me know about that in the comments. What do you think about that? As well as my comments of how Stax is taboo, how all of White's strengths are like a no-no in the format. I think it's very unfair. As a non-White player, this is not my jam. This is not like, wow, I love this, but this is White's strength. Why would you take White's strength away? That would make the format unbalanced whenever we put all these no-nos. So let me know about your opinions on that in the comments, as well as like, share, subscribe, and follow for more, okay? But that's gonna be it for this episode. I'm gonna see you on the next one though. Peace out.